Hi guys, this is Mamian. Today we'll talk about some of the test taking strategies that you can use in the board exam. So, most of these test taking strategies come from your books. No disclaimer na kaagad. This come from Saunders and your Lippincott book. So, why am I saying this? It's because guys, if you are someone who have read the rationale of your Lippincott and your Saunders, there is a way on how they arrive on that specific answer. What I did is that I patented some of these test taking strategies from that way of thinking. So I think it's very efficient and I think it's scientifically sound. So what I'm doing here is that I enumerated them here, and what I'm going to do is while I discuss the test taking strategies, I'm also going to apply it on questions directly so that you see how it's applied. And what I want you to do on your end as well is, even with the remaining days before the board exam, guys, I want you to apply these test taking strategies when you can, if you can, while the board exam is still days ahead. Okay? So, why am I saying this? Because you cannot just apply these test taking strategies right off the bat. Pag board exam na, dun mo pa lang siya i-apply. No. While you're still doing practice questions right now in your pre-boards, in your own test taking time on your own room, ayan, on your own personal time, I want you to apply them so that you see how they are done, and you get the feel of how they are presented or how they are applied. Okay, so yun. And guys, why is it significant to have test taking strategies? For one, I personally think, no, when you are in the board exam, ang kalaban mo is not because you don't know anything. In fact, that's totally not true. I think you know it. It's just that you need to constantly get it out your subconscious mind, because when you're super anxious, it's hard to focus, it's hard to think. So these test taking strategies, it makes you feel more grounded and more in control. So when everything else is just overwhelming in the board exam, the question, the heat, the pressure, everything. And so what you can default into, or what you can do on your end to be more in control or to be more grounded, is to try and apply these test taking strategies. Okay? And secondly, I think it's also very efficient to have one. Yung mga test taking strategies na to, it's because aside from it being time saver, guys, no? In the board exam, hindi naman talaga ganun ka problema yung time, personally speaking. Because I think sufficient time naman ang given sa inyo. But if you're someone who's struggling with time, hindi ka super time conscious when you answer 100 items within 2 hours, I think test taking strategies can help you manage your time better. And aside from the time management spectrum of this, I also think this is very efficient when it comes to answering or arriving to the correct answer. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is, etong mga test-taking strategies na ituturo ko sa inyo, guys, this can help you in two ways. Number one, arrive on the correct answer if all else fail. Ibig sabihin, wala kang hindi mo na alam kung ano yung tamang sagot, hindi mo makuha kung ano yung concept. Alam mo yung concept pero naguguluhan ka, nagdadalawang isip ka sa choices. Test-taking strategies help you arrive on the correct answer. And secondly, test-taking strategies will help you validate if indeed yung answer na na-arrive mo is indeed sound and possibly correct. Ayun. So, let's start with these test-taking strategies. The first, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you this one. Ang number one na hindi mo pwedeng alisin sa board exam is the power of elimination. So, the power of elimination or the elimination technique is a test-taking strategy you can apply in all questions in the board exam. Again, in all questions in the board exam. Question number 1 until 500. So all of these questions, you can apply test-taking strategies. Why am I saying this? Guys, listen. It's because in the board exam, again, ang kalaban mo aside from anxiety is the feeling that you get when you finally realize that the board exam is not super difficult, but rather it's very answerable. So note and emphasis on the answerable. I'm not saying it's basic. I'm not saying it's chicken nuggets. I'm not saying it's very, very easy to pass. I'm just saying 80% of the board exam is very answerable. And this is not to underestimate the board exam or to overestimate you as an examinee, because I know you're smart, I know you're hardworking, I know you're diligent, and I know you prepared for this. What I'm saying is, here, in the power of elimination, guys, this helps you take a step back before answering hastily, okay? Yung nagmamadali magsagot kasi pagbasa mo pa lang ng tanong, alam mo na ang sagot. Because trust me when I tell you this, in the board exam, guys, 80% is answerable. And in that 80%, it's either gonna be your edge or your nemesis. Ibig sabihin, it can either help you pass or help you fail the board exam. Because sa sobrang dali, on some of the questions, 80% of it, if it's very easy, it's very answerable, ang nangyayari is, you get so hyped up, jacked up to answer or shade the correct answer without second guessing, without taking a step back and really assessing the question. So marami nang nangyari nito sa mga past takers, guys. No, even in our batch, even I myself, I would admit, because of that, 80% being answerable in the board exam. Sobrang bilis ko sumagot, sobrang bilis ko matapos. So what I'm telling you here is that the power of elimination helps you take a step back and really assess the question again. And obviously, paano ba ginagawa ang power of elimination? Pag binasa mo yung tanong and binasa mo yung choices, you eliminate obviously wrong choices. Tanggalin mo na sila dyan. They are no longer candidates for the correct answer. That's how the power of elimination works. And then after you have eliminated choices that you think are absurdly wrong, or you think they're just wrong, they're not correct, what you're gonna do is you have to read the question again, and then the remaining choices that you have, you get your answer. You answer. Claro? Yes. So guys, again, you always use the power of elimination para hindi ka hyped up sumagot. At kapag hyped up ka sumagot, most of the time you can yield or you can get the wrong answer. So this one helps you become more grounded on the question you're faced with. So again, use this item 1 until item 500, please. If you want to get that license, if you want to be a top-notcher at that, you have to scrutinize each item because all of these items are 1 point away from passing or topping your board exam. You cannot waste even how easy this question is. You have to give it dignity. You have to give it respect. You have to pay it due diligence in answering. That's why the test taking strategy of the power of elimination, it being applied. Guys, trust me when I tell you this. It's a game changer. It's the most basic test taking strategy, but it's a game changer. Please, kaya siya number 1 dito. Kasi ito yung pinakauna kong gustong emphasize while you still have the attention span right now watching this video. So for example, guys, which of the following is an environmental factor that increases the risk of cancer? Letter A, gender. Letter B, nutrition. Letter C, immunologic status. Letter D, age. On the first brush, the question looks very basic and easy. But when you look at the choices, if you do not apply the power of elimination, it's gonna be harder to yield or to reach the correct answer. So for this question, guys, eliminate age and gender. These are all personal personal factor na sa tao, different in every person. Now you're left with nutrition and immunologic status. So for this question, the only correct answer is letter B, nutrition. That's the only environmental factor that will affect or increase your risk of cancer. Immunologic status, still, it's very personal to the person. Okay, pag may autoimmune ka, it's personal to you. You cannot change that. But your diet, it's an environmental factor. It's something that you can modify. Claro? Yes. Guys, that's your power of elimination. Use it on items 1 to 500 to clinch and get that license or that top-notch rank. Klaro ba? Yes, guys. Secondly, ang second test taking strategy natin is to note strategic words. And here, when I say noting strategic words, I'm referring to the words that will ask the nurse to prioritize. Why am I emphasizing this? Because there is a lot of words. I will put the list here that will pressure the nurse to prioritize nursing action. So, this is where I want to respond to the debate. Ma'am, yan is the initial nursing action versus priority nursing action or first nursing action different? Will the answers be different if the wording of the question is like that? Guys, My simple answer is they are just the same. For the love of God, they are just the same. All of these strategic words, they are forcing the nurse to prioritize. Okay? Again, the clue word is, pag narinig mong first nursing action, initial nursing action, priority nursing action, they will all mean the same. They are just worded different in the question, but the principle is essentially the same. So what I'm going to do here, if you are not yet sold with that explanation, I'm going to give you different types of example questions that has yung mga, what's the first nursing action, what's the priority nursing action, blah, blah, blah. So that you see, they are essentially the same. They are just worded differently per question. Klaro ba yon? Yes. So I have a list of word here, guys, that will force the nurse to prioritize or is asking the nurse to prioritize. So if questions have words like what's the best, what's the early or earliest, what's the most important, what's the priority, what's the initial, what's the first, what's the most, all of these are strategic words that put the nurse in a position where they have to prioritize nursing action. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So guys, ano yung basis ko for this list of words? I'm going to put it here. It's from your Saunders book. So if you're familiar with the orange Saunders book, kung saan questions and answers lang lahat, walang discussion of concepts, lahat Q&A and rational lang, guys. It comes from these books. These strategic words, again, it's there. It says it forces the nurse to prioritize. And true enough, that's really what it wants the nurse to do when questions are presented in this way. So again, I'm asking you, first nursing action, initial nursing action, tsaka priority nursing action, are they different? No, they are essentially just the same thing. They will force the nurse to prioritize nursing action. So guys, what are the strategies you can use when these words come up? Pag may mga strategic words tayo. Firstly, hindi mawawala yung lagi kong tinuturo, ABC prioritization, which is your airway, breathing, circulation prioritization. That's the first. Yan yung pinakauna mong consideration when you're reading through a question with these strategic words. Okay? ABC. Pag walang ABC, the second step that you can take is Maslow's hierarchy of need. So when you look at the pyramid of Maslow, it says on the bottom part of the pyramid, guys, these are all physiologic needs. So it is, so to speak, in Maslow's hierarchy of need, the priority nursing action or choice that you should shade in the board exam is the choice that tells you to prioritize physiologic needs first before psychological and social needs, before your psychosocial needs. Klaro ba yon? Yes, that's your Maslow's hierarchy of need. Now, pag walang ABC, pag walang Maslow's, what else can you answer? Look for the principle of your nursing process, which is your ADPI. Assessment, diagnosis, planning, intervention, evaluation. That's the next thing you can consider. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, ADPI. Okay? And then next, pag walang ADPI, pag walang Maslow's, pag walang ABC, anong next ko, ma'am? Safety. Look for the choice where there is prioritization of the safety of the patient. Kung walang safety of the patient, edi safety of the nurse. Klaro? Yes. Safety of the nurse or the responder. This is important, especially for not just psychiatric nursing, but also for emergency nursing, disaster response nursing. Klaro? Yes, it's either you prioritize the safety of the responder or the safety of the patient. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Okay? So the question is, ma'am, how do I know if the prioritization is ABC or Maslow's or ADPI or safety? Guys, I know you know this. Do not doubt yourself. Look at the spirit of the question. What is the question asking you? So, in all the questions that you meet asking you to prioritize, ask yourself, read the question first. Anong ask yourself? Sorry. Read the question and rephrase the question on your own words. You know you understand what the question is asking you if you can rephrase the question to someone else. For example, it's like you're explaining it to your friend. So, reading the question, pag nagets mo siya, you know what's the spirit of the question when you can re-ask or rephrase the question differently but essentially the same ang concept. So, let me give you examples so that makita mo how it's applied. Guys, a client is admitted to the emergency department with complaints of severe chest pain. The client is extremely restless, frightened, and dyspneic. Immediate admission prescriptions include oxygen by nasal cannula at 4 liters per minute, troponin levels, creatinine phosphokinase, and isoenzyme blood levels. A chest x-ray, a 12-lead electrocardiogram, or your ECG. Which action would the nurse take first? Letter A, obtain the 12-lead ECG. Letter B, draw the blood specimens. Letter C, apply the oxygen to the client. Or letter D, call the radiology to obtain a chest x-ray study. The thing about prioritizing, no? The thing about questions that will force the nurse to prioritize, all the choices are correct. Please, note this. Alam kong na-realize mo na to by this time. Pag pinaprioritize ka, guys, madalas lahat ng choices tama. Kaya, ang correct answer is kung alin dyan sa lahat ng tamang sagot ang una mong gagawin. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Bihira na may mali dyan, isa or dalawang choice. Tapos the other choices are most often than not correct. So, with these choices, guys, ang tanong, which action would the nurse take first? Yun yung strategic word mo, the word first. So, wala kang ibang tamang sagot dito kundi letter C. Apply the oxygen to the client. Because applying oxygen to the client will respond to your ABC principle, airway, breathing, circulation principle. Klaro ba yon? Yes. All of the choices, are they also correct? Yes. Kasi prescriptions nga ng doktor, gagawin mo din yan. But the question is asking you, which among the following is the first nursing action? The ABC, the oxygen, letter C ang correct answer. Klaro ba yon? Yes. And then you can do all of these other things later after you have provided the airway management to the client. Okay? As simple as that. Guys, next. Example question number 2. A female client arrives at the emergency department and states that she was just raped. In preparing a plan of care, which is the priority intervention? Letter A, providing instructions for medical follow-up. Letter B, obtaining appropriate counseling for the victim. Letter C, providing anticipatory guidance for police investigations, medical questions, and court proceedings. And letter D, exploring safety concerns by obtaining permission to notify significant others who can provide shelter. So, your clue word or your strategic word here is which is the priority nursing intervention, correct? So, walang ibang tamang sagot kundi letter D. Exploring safety concerns by obtaining permission to notify significant others who can provide shelter. That's a priority nursing action because that deals with safety concerns. Walang ABC sa concept ng choices, walang Maslow's hierarchy of need, okay? Wala naman ding ADPI, kaya ang gagawin mo, safety. Klaro? Safety is your priority here. So, question, is all the choices correct? Yes, tama sila lahat. Kaya ang tanong sa'yo, alin dito ang ipra-prioritize mo? Alin dito ang una mong gagawin? Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kasi kung una mo siyang gagawin, priority mo siya. Guys, wala kang unang gagawin as a nurse kung hindi yan priority, ha? Klaro? Yes. So, if it's not yet crystal clear to you guys, what did I just say? Sabi ko, kung hindi mo nursing priority, hindi mo una gagawin. At kung hindi mo una gagawin, hindi mo nursing priority. Kaya if the question is asking you which is the first nursing action versus which is the priority nursing action, what's the response? It is essentially just the same thing. Klaro ba yon? Yes, okay? Looking at all the choices or the other choices here, follow-up, counseling, guidance for investigation, court proceedings, these are all correct, but they can come later after you have prioritized the safety of the patient. Claro? Yes. Guys, example question number 3. The clinic nurse prepares to develop a diabetic teaching program. To meet the client's needs, the nurse would take which action first? Letter A, assess the client's functional abilities. Letter B, ensure that insurance will pay for participation in the program. Letter C, discuss the focus of the program with the interprofessional team. Or letter D, include everyone who comes into the clinic in the teaching sessions. And you know this, walang ibang tamang sagot kundi ano? Letter A, assess the client's functional abilities. Kasi the clue word or the strategic word is the nurse would take which action first. So if the first nursing action, ang tanong, di ang sagot mo, kung walang ABC, kung walang Maslow's, di add pi. May add pi ba? Yes. Assess the client's functional ability. Assessment ba yan? Yes. All the other choices, do they look correct? Yes. Except sa second, guys, yung letter B. Ensure that insurance will pay for the participation in the program. Okay? Di, kebs na kung magbayad, di mo yan priority as a nurse. Di yan kasama sa management. Okay? So yan, tama yung ibang choices. But the priority is to assess first the functional abilities of your patient. Because that one will address assessment in your nursing process, which is your ADPI. Okay, claro? Yes, okay? So that's the second test-taking strategy. The third one, I know you're familiar with this. This is eliminating alike options. Eliminating options that sound the same, okay? Sound alike. So guys, the reason is because in the board exam or in any questions that you're answering, hindi ka pwedeng sumagot ng B and D or A and B or B and C or C and D. So what am I saying here? You cannot have two answers in one question. That's just not possible. Questions are meant for you to have only one answer unless you are being asked select all that apply. Claro ba? Yes. So you have to eliminate alike options. Options that essentially sound the same. Options that have the same principle. Claro, the same concept. So guys, let me give you an example. The nurse is assessing the leg pain of a client who has just undergone right femoral popliteal artery bypass grafting. Which question would be most useful in determining whether the client is experiencing graft occlusion? Letter A, can you describe what the pain feels like? Letter B, can you rate the pain on a scale of 1 to 10? Letter C, did you get any relief from the last dose of pain medication? Or letter D, can you compare this pain to the pain you felt before surgery? Naghintay. Anyway, guys, the only correct answer for this choice is no other than letter D, Delta, dog. Can you compare this pain to the pain you felt before surgery? Why is that the correct answer? You eliminate alike options. Guys, letters A, B, and C, these are all alike options. Why? Because these are all part of your pain assessment to the patient. Guys, familiar with your OPQRST? Pain assessment. So when you say O, that's the onset of pain. Kailan sumasakit? Guys, P, that's your provocation or palliation. Kailan siya mas sumasakit at kailan nawawala ang sakit. And that's did you get any relief from the last dose of pain medication? And guys, you also have the quality of the pain. Guys, can you describe what the pain feels like? Quality of the pain, OPQRST. Guys, next, region and radiation. Di ba? Wala naman dyan kung saan tinatanong kung saan ang location ng pain, region or radiation yon. And then letter S, severity. OPQRST mo yan. Can you rate the pain on a scale of 1 to 10? Di andun siya sa severity, klaro. And then time, how long does the pain or the duration of the pain? Okay? Ayun. So, it's just letter D that is asking your patient to compare the pain from before the surgery and after the surgery. Guys, look at the kind of surgery the patient just undergone. Right femoral popliteal artery bypass grafting. So, nag-bypass ka ng blood vessel. Bakit mo binaypass ang blood vessel? Kasi occluded siya. May clot. Okay, may bara sa ugat. Kaya binaypass mo para magkaroon ng circulation doon sa ugat na yon na may occlusion or may obstruction. So, ang tanong, which question would be most useful in determining whether the client is experiencing graft occlusion? So ngayon, binaypass mo nga yung bara, yung bypass na ugat na ginamit mo, nagkaroon din ng bara. Paano mo malalaman kung nagkaroon na din nga talaga ng bara yung ginamit mong graft para mag-bypass ng occlusion or obstruction? Di tanungin mo siya, ma'am, yung sakit ba ngayon, the same ba sa sakit na naramdaman mo dati? Yes. Why? Kasi nga guys, 'di ba? Obstruction yung reason ko bakit mo ginawa yung surgery. Kung nag-obstruct naging obstructed din yung ugat na nilagay mo, edi yung pain na maramdaman niya is the pain the same before, na para bang hindi lang din siya nag-surgery. Kasi yung surgery na ginawa mo, dapat nawala yung obstruction. Nabara din yung ginawa mong bypass na ugat, di balik yung pain na naramdaman niya dati. Klaro? Yes, kaya the only correct answer is letter D. This is how you eliminate alike options. So you have to really scrutinize the choices. If this choice sounds like a pain assessment tool, part of the OPQRST, di ngayon kung hindi mo alam ang OPQRST, di alam mo na ang OPQRST. Onset, provocation, palliation, OP. Q, quality, R, region, radiation, S, severity on a scale of 1 to 10, and T is the time or duration. Klaro? Yes. Okay, so that's number 3, eliminate alike options. Guys, number 4, the fourth here is eliminate choices with close-ended words. So ito yung pinaka-no-brainer na pwede mong gawin sa board exam. When you say choices with close-ended words like all, only, and always. Basta may tatlong words na yan, guys. Holy Trinity mo yan to eliminate the option. So, pag may all, only, and always, eliminate mo na kaagad. So, for example, guys, these are close-ended words kasi all, always, and only, close-ended words yan. And the reason why you cannot answer choices with close-ended words is because in nursing and in sciences and in health, in medicine in general, there is no such thing as 100%. Laging 99.9%, laging may 0.01% or 1%, okay, na hindi mangyayari yung gusto mong mangyari. But 99% of it pwede, possible. Klaro? Yes. Kaya hindi pwede, hindi bali magkaroon dito ng mga close-ended words like you're always, you're all, your only, bawal yan. Klaro? Yes. So for example, a client is to undergo a barium swallow test and the nurse provides pre-procedure instructions. The nurse would instruct the client to take which action in the pre-procedure period. Letter A, avoid eating or drinking after midnight before the test. Letter B, limit self to only 2 cigarettes on the morning of the test. Letter C, have a clear liquid breakfast only on the morning of the test. Letter D, take all routine medications with a glass of water on the morning of the test. Eliminate mo na lahat ng choices na may close-ended words like choice letter B, limit self to only 2 cigarettes. Eliminate that. Letter C, have a clear liquid breakfast only. Eliminate that. And letter D, take all routine medications with a glass of water. Eliminate that. So you are left with letter A. Kaya guys, sa question na to, wala kang ibang tamang sagot kundi letter A. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Okay? So for example, pagod ka na sumagot sa board exam, ang gagawin mo na lang, basta may only, all, always, eliminate mo na. At ang iisipin na lang ng utak mo para hindi ka magkaroon ng mental fatigue is ang choices na nagre-remain after all the elimination. Okay? Klaro? Yes. So that's your eliminating options that has close-ended words on it. Guys, the fifth test-taking strategy is to learn how to apply the umbrella effect. So, guys, the umbrella effect is, or the umbrella choice. We call the umbrella effect if may isang choice dyan out of the 4 or 5 choices na meron ka under one question. If that one choice is universal or general statement wherein other remaining choices can be placed under. Okay? Ibig sabihin, this one choice, pag ito, tiningnan mo, lahat ng other choices na meron ka can fall under it. Klaro? That's your umbrella effect. Klaro? Yes. So guys, let me give you a very good example. The colloquial statement, the nurse was given her day in court, means that the nurse was given a or an. Letter A, opportunity to present her side. Letter B, opportunity to present evidences. Letter C, chance to be heard. Or letter D, due process. And the only correct answer is no other than letter D, due process. Guys, this is your umbrella effect because due process is the general and universal statement. The chance to be heard is due process. The opportunity to present evidences is due process. And to present your side in court, in your day in court, is also due process. That's why the only correct answer is letter D, to have due process. Okay, this is due process. Claro? Yes, this is your umbrella effect. So, in this question, the only correct answer is letter D, due process. Claro ba yon? Yes, that's an example of umbrella effect in the board exam. Okay? So, watch out for these kinds of questions. They will appear like all the choices are correct. So, what you have to do is to look, meron bang umbrella effect dito? Pag meron, sino yung umbrella effect? Siya yung correct answer. Claro ba? Yes. Okay? Don't forget that. And then guys, next, the sixth test taking strategy we can apply is yung negatives versus positives option natin. So what do I mean by this? When you look at the after you read the question, syempre, after you read the question, you look at the choices. Now, you label the choice if this is a negative choice or a positive choice. So, paano mo malaman kung negative or positive choice siya? Just by the choice of words used. So, pa yung mga no, mga not, cannot, low, high, mga ganon. So, pag low, pag no, pag cannot, mga ganyan, mga negative connotation na words, edi negative choice yan. Pag positive naman, edi positive yan. Mga may high chance, positive, yes, mga ganun, probable, possible, yung mga ganung words. Klaro? Yes. So, let me give you a good example para mas ma-visualize mo siya. Guys, example question. A 29-year-old woman is concerned about her personal risk factors for malignant melanoma. She is upset because her 49-year-old sister was recently diagnosed with the disease. After gathering information about the client's history of sun exposure, the nurse's best response would be to explain that letter A, some melanomas have a familial component and she should seek medical advice. Letter B, her personal risk factor is low because most melanomas occur at age 60 or later. Letter C, her personal risk factor is low because melanomas does not have a familial component. Letter D, she should not worry because she did not experience severe sunburn as a child. So kung mapapansin mo, choices letter B, C, and D. These are all choices that has a negative connotation to it. Her personal risk factor is low in letter B. Her personal risk factor is low in letter C, does not have a familiar component, letter C. Letter D, she should not worry. So all of these are negatives statements. But letter A, tingnan mo, most melanomas have a familial component and she should seek medical advice. This is the only choice that is positive. So guys, pag may tatlong negative, isang positive, ang correct answer is yung naiba, which is yung positive. So the only correct answer for this question is letter A. Most melanomas have a familial component, kaya go and seek medical advice. And your letter B and C and D, hindi sinasabing mag-medical advice ka. Sabi, hindi, okay lang yan. Wala kang risk factor, di ba? Yes. So, when you're met with choices like this, like this one, may tatlong negatives, may isang positive. Edi yung positive yung sagot. Kung may tatlong positive, isang negative, edi yung negative ang sagot. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Okay? Yun. So guys, that's it. Your negatives versus positives option. Guys, next, number 7. Let me just tell you this. Okay, this is also one of my favorites. This is reading through the choices. And yung test taking strategy natin dito is the more versus less choices. More versus less. So guys, ang more versus less na test taking strategy is, pag binasa mo yung mga choices na meron ka dyan, they can all be labeled as, eto more age, eto less age. Or, eto more exposure, eto less exposure. Or, eto more risk factor, eto less risk factor. Ganon, okay? So you have to label again the choices if it's more or a less choice. So let me give you a very good example. Guys, which of the following groups would benefit most from education regarding potential risk factors for melanoma? Letter A, adults older than age 35. Letter B, senior citizens who have been repeatedly exposed to the effects of ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B rays. Or letter C, parents with children. Or letter D, employees on a chemical factory. And if your answer is letter C, you are correct. Parents with children is the correct answer. Guys, more versus less choices na test taking strategy. Look at letter A, adults older than 35. years of age, edi older in terms of age, more in terms of sun exposure or exposure to things that can cause melanoma, risk factors that can cause melanoma. Letter B, senior citizen, more in terms of age, edi more in terms of exposure. Sinabi pa talaga, exposed to the effects of ultraviolet A and B, edi more on exposure, more on age. Letter D, sa Delta, employees on a chemical factory. Pag employee ka, edi mas matanda ka. Klaro? Kasi nakaka-work ka na eh. Matanda ka. Klaro? Yes. Chemical factory, mayroong mga chemicals dyan that can increase your risk factor or exposure to getting melanoma. Klaro? Yes. Edi, guys, letter C, parents with children. Ang tanong, which of the following groups would benefit most on education regarding potential risk factors of melanoma? So, saan mo makukuha ang pinakamalaking benefit pag nag-explain ka sa mga risk factors ng melanoma? Yung taong wala pang exposure. So, yung mga may less exposure, yung mga may less in terms of age. Parents with children. If they have children, can they apply the learnings on their children? Yes, okay? So, sino ang makikinabang talaga dito? Yung children. At yung parents, kasi yung parents hindi magkakaroon ng mga sick na children. Klaro? In the future. Klaro? Yes. So, mapasa yung information to the children. Kaya, the only correct answer is letter C. So, baka isipin mo, ma'am, parents, exposure, pati yung age. More din. But guys, yung children, yung pinag-uusapan natin to, children, klaro? Yes, they can apply the education they have learned to their children. For example, applying sunscreen, using long sleeves, using umbrella, yung mga ganon, klaro? Yes, that's why the only correct answer is letter C. This is how you apply more versus less in terms of the options. So, ikaw na bahala mag-label. If ito more on age, or more on risk factors, or more on exposure, or less in age, less in risk factor, less in exposure. You have to read through the choices so that you see what they mean in the question. Claro? Yes. So, the best answer is letter C. Guys, next, the 8th, ang ikawalo natin na test taking strategy is alin ang naiba technique. Alin ang naiba technique? Alin dito sa choices ang unique? Yung naiiba lang, okay? Yung naiba, okay, ayun, yung hindi nabibilong sa categories ng other choices. So guys, most of the time, choices with the same principle or classification, they are wrong. Yung naiiba, yung unique, siya yung tamang sagot. Klaro? Yes. So for example, guys, a client is transferred to his room from the intensive care unit after a craniotomy for treatment of a malignant brain tumor in the occipital region. The nurse should question which of these orders. Letter A, 400 milligrams of ibuprofen. Letter B, 500 milligrams of naproxen. Letter C, morphine sulfate. Letter D, acetaminophen. And the only correct answer is letter C, morphine sulfate. Yan lang yung narcotic dyan. Yan lang yung opioid dyan. Claro? Yes, all of the other choices are non-opioid, non-narcotics. They are either your NSAIDs, like your ibuprofen and naproxen, NSAIDs, and your acetaminophen, which is your analgesic. Okay? Analgesic in general. Ayan. So, the only correct answer is, alin ang naiba? Yung only one that is an opioid, edi morphine sulfate. Yan ang sasagutin mo. Klaro? Yes, letter C is the correct answer. Guys, number 9. Ang ika-9th natin dito. So, I have to tell you this. Word per word scrutiny of the choices. Word per word scrutiny of the choices. One wrong word in that choice, no matter how correct the choice sounds like, basta there's one wrong word there, it makes the choice wrong. Eliminate it. Claro? Yes. So guide, word per word scrutiny of the options. Again, A, B, C, D, options. Yun ang scrutinize mo, word per word. Lalo na kapag sobrang haba ng choices, gagamitin mo to. Okay? Kahit short lang ang choices, pwede man din. Basahin mo siya word per word at tingnan mo kung may maling isang salita dyan, mali na ang choice. Huwag mo nang piliin yan kahit gaano pa siya ka-promising at kahit gaano pa siya katama. Basta may isang maling word, mali na yan, guys. Okay? Klaro? Trust me, this is one of the tricks in the board exam na akala mo tama na yung choice. Pero may isang word na mali lang doon. Mali na yun. Klaro? Let it go. Let it go. Guys, for example, Eula receives morphine for post-operative pain. Which of the following should the nurse include in her plan of care? Letter A, take apical heart rate after each dose of morphine. Letter B, assess urinary output every 8 hours. Letter C, assess mental status every shift. Letter D, check for pedal edema every 4 hours. I'll give you time to scrutinize word per word. Okay? Excuse me. For this one, the only correct answer is letter B. Bravo! Assess urinary output every 8 hours. Okay? Why is that the correct answer? Guys, tingnan mo. Eliminate mo yung mga mali sa choices. Take apical heart rate after each dose of morphine. Saan ka nag-check ng apical heart rate, guys? Sa digoxin, sa digitalis mo, hindi sa morphine. Ano yung chine-check mo kay morphine? RR ba? Yes. Kaya word per word scrutiny, mali na kaagad ang apical heart rate. Dapat yan respiratory rate. So, eliminate. Next, letter C. Assess mental status every shift. The word shift makes it wrong. It sounds correct, mental status, klaro, kasi morphine sulfate is opioid, narcotic, can sedate the patient. Klaro, parang nakaka-relax. So, kailangan mo i-check ang mental status, tama. But every shift ba check ang mental status? No! Every time you give the dose, you check the mental status. Kasi guys, nagiging groggy ang patient, nagiging sedated sila dahil sa morphine sulfate. Nakaka-relax yan. Opioid yan narcotic yan So, guys, dapat before ka magbibigay sa pasyente mo ng morphine sulfate, tingnan mo, baka mamaya, groggy na yan ng sobra. The risk for ano na yan, injury or safety or fall precaution. Klaro? Yes. Kaya, checking it every shift, the mental status, checking it every shift makes it wrong. Kaya nga, word per word scrutiny. Every shift is wrong. You check it every time you give the medication. Every time the dose is due. Okay? Before you give the medication, check the mental status. If GCS 15 pa rin daw ang pasyente mo, baka mamaya GCS 3 na lang so sobrang sedated niya sa morphine. Ibibigay mo pa ba? Hindi na. Hold the dose. Klaro? Yes. So it makes it wrong every shift. And then check for pedalidema every 4 hours. Wrong. Dapat i-check mo ang pedalidema every shift. Pwede na yun. Klaro? Kasi when you're asked about morphine sulfate for post-op pain, ang layo ng edema doon. Klaro? Ang tinitignan ng pain. Klaro? Yes. So, bakit urinary output, ma'am? Guys, listen. Morphine sulfate. I know you know that the side effect of morphine sulfate is constipation. Di ba? Constipation. Because a low respiratory rate is an adverse effect. Side effect, guys, constipation. And guys, aside from constipation, dapat hindi mo to mamiss. Constipation and urinary stasis or urinary retention. So, magiging hypoactive yung bladder mo. So, kahit puno na siya, you don't feel the urge to urinate. So, you don't pass urine. Klaro? Yes. So, because ipapababa ni morphine yung function ng GI at ng GUT mo. Klaro? Yes. So, it's not just constipation, it will also cause urinary retention. Kaya, ang answer, letter B, urinary output every 8 hours. The urine output should be well within 30 to 60 ml per hour. Klaro? Per hour. So, in 8 hours, dapat 8 times 30 to 60 ml, yan dapat ang urine output niya. Klaro? Yes. Very good. Guys, ang 10th, ang ikasampu natin dito is the arrows up and down technique. Again, arrows up and down technique. So, ano to? This is most often than not useful in med-surg concepts. Okay? Arrows up and down technique. So, dito guys, for example, if the symptoms is increasing, arrows up yan. I-label mo yung choice as arrow up. Pag ang symptoms is pababa, decreasing symptom, edi arrow down. Okay? Tapos titignan mo lahat ng choices. Kung may 3 arrows up ka, tapos isang arrow down, edi yung isang arrow down yung tamang sagot. Okay? Likewise, if may 3 arrows down ka, tsaka isang arrows up, edi yung isang arrows up ang correct answer. Klaro? Yes. So guys, for example, Diluc is diagnosed with pheochromocytoma. Which vital sign alteration is most expected? Letter A, hypotension. Letter B, bradycardia. Letter C, hypertension. Letter D, low respiratory rate. So, by this time, I know you will get the correct answer using the arrows up and down technique. Letter C is the correct answer. Hypertension, arrows up. Hypotension, arrows down. Bradycardia, arrows down. Low respiratory rate, arrows down. So, isa lang arrows up mo dito. Hypertension, yan ang isasagot mo Claro? Yes, letter C is the only correct answer. And true enough, guys, pheochromocytoma is a tumor in the adrenal medulla. You know the function of the adrenal medulla is to release catecholamines, norepinephrine, dopamine, epinephrine. So itong mga catecholamines na to, they're all responsible for your sympathetic nervous system or your fight or flight response. So kung naka-fight or flight response ka, guys, hypertension ang mangyayari sa'yo, tataas ang blood pressure mo. Claro? Kasi you need to fight or you need to run away. E di you need higher blood pressure in order to give your organs proper blood perfusion for you to fight or for you to run away. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Hypotension, bradycardia, low respiratory rate will not allow you to fight or to run away. Klaro? Yes, it's only Charlie. Kaya C ang tamang sagot using your arrows up and down technique. So guys, be careful. Again, disclaimer. With the arrows up and down technique, disclaimer lang. The arrows up and down technique na test taking strategy is not all the time going to be reliable. So, this one na ituturo ko sa inyo, which is the last test taking strategy in this video, is to label the choices accordingly to what is being compared or contrasted. So, why? In med-surg, guys, sa PNLE, you have a lot of diseases that are contrasting. Partners, di ba? Partners sila. For example, in your GI, you have Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. You have chronic versus acute pancreatitis. Yung laging kino-compare. Gastric ulcer versus duodenal ulcer, di ba? Yung mga contrasting lagi na diseases. So, this is what you can use. You're labeling the choices according to what is being compared before ka sumagot. Klaro? Yes. And especially in endocrine system. Diyan, guys, halos lahat ng diseases, maliban kay pheochromocytoma, kino-compare, di ba? Hypo versus hyperthyroidism, your Graves versus your Hashimoto's thyroiditis. You also have your Addison's versus Cushing's disease. You also have DM type 1 versus type 2, di ba? So all of this contrast and comparison, the most effective test-taking strategy, I would argue, is this one. You label the choices accordingly to what is being compared. So the moment na huli mo sa tanong kung ano yung being compared or kung ano yung tinatanong na sakit, i-compare mo na siya kung ano yung contrast niya na sakit. Okay? Kung ano yung partner niya na sakit. So for example, guys, Navia is undergoing treatment for Cushing's syndrome. Which electrolyte imbalance is common? Letter A, hyperkalemia. Letter B, hyponatremia. Letter C, hypoglycemia. Letter D, hypokalemia. Okay? The disease is Cushing's syndrome. You know that the partner of Cushing's is Addison's disease, correct? Yes, it's an endocrine problem. So, ang gagawin mo dito sa choices ngayon, you label the choice, it's either Addison's or Cushing's. Guys, hyperkalemia, Addison's or Cushing's? Addison's. Because in Addison's, sobrang baba ng aldosterone hormone, sobrang baba ng SSS hormone mo, salt, aldosterone hormone yan. E di pag mababa ang salt, hyponatremia, which is letter B, and hyperkalemia, which is letter A. So in short, hyperkalemia, hyponatremia, these are all Addisonian symptoms. Guys, hypoglycemia, ano pa yan? Mababa ang SSS. So, mababa ang first S, which is the sugar hormone, klaro? Which is your cortisol. And my students know this. Wherever cortisol goes, sugar follows. So, kung mababa ang cortisol kay Addison's, edi hypoglycemia. So, now you have choices letter A, B, and C. All of these are Addisonian symptoms, di ba? It's only delta that tells you it's a Cushing's symptom, hypokalemia. And true enough, in Cushing's, SSS hormones are all increased, mataas. Mataas ang sugar, ang salt, ang sex hormone. So, pag mataas ang salt hormone, ang opposite niya lagi is the potassium. So, hypokalemia, hypernatremia. Klaro? Yes, that's why the only correct answer is letter D, hypokalemia. Klaro? Yes. So, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching and I hope you learned.